Good night. Welcome to Teleislas News, the most relevant and important information of the day. This week, different political parties have released their proposals to change some points of the national government tax reform.
Since the national government filed before the Congress of the Republic the tax reform proposal that hopes to alleviate the state's petty cash crisis, several political parties have questioned some articles of the reform requesting modifications, arguing that, as it stands, it would affect the country's economic growth. One of these parties is Radical Change, which presented 10 observations to the tax reform that would generate the same revenue as the original proposal, but without the effects that it entails.
The collection of $25 billion expected by the government has another source of financing that is not impacting the family basket. Now those who are producing economic development. Issues such as strengthening the DIAN to fight aviation and smuggling, the reduction of public spending. It is understood that if there is a reduction of 10%, we can achieve a resource of more than 15 billion pesos that will serve the social programs that the government expects to implement. We have proposed that the healthy tax should be taken into account. We are asking that the 20% tax for foreign products be removed. This will generate an increase that will be passed on to the ordinary citizen. We are also asking that the subsidy for the arrival of new airlines to remote areas of the country be maintained. We are asking to maintain within the tourism law the article that manages to include a 200% income tax discount paid through payroll. We are asking to maintain this exception for this island.
This week, President Gustavo Petro met with congressmen from different political parties to clarify some points of the tax reform project that will allow to advance the process in the Congress of the Republic. What was made clear after the meeting is that the amount of the reform cannot be lowered.
In the last hours, the appointment of a new interim director of the regional headquarters of SENA in San Andres was announced.
By means of this resolution, the General Secretariat of the National Learning Service, SENA, ordered the appointment of Diego León Fernández Hurtado as General Director of SENA's regional headquarters in San Andres for a term of 3 months. Fernández Hurtado assumes the administration of the training center, which was previously under the direction of Leonora Barragán Bedoya as interim director for 8 months after the departure of the previous director of the entity, Lorena Aldana. The new director spoke exclusively for Teleislas News.
I try to follow the guidelines that have been carried out during these 8 months. The coordinators already have their goals established. Each coordinator that is in the regional headquarters has their goals and objectives, and they are going to develop them as they have been developing them. The emphasis that is going to be done is in the work environment, that everyone may be working in the best way possible.
During the last administration of Lorena Aldana, the Union of Employees of the SENA regional headquarters in San Andres have expressed their disagreement with some decisions made in the academic center. Fernández Hurtado said to have good relations with the union and maintain good communication with employees.
I am part of the union from the subdirectorate with my colleague Shane Brackman. We have been working in the best way possible. With the previous director, Leonora, we solved issues that generated controversy in the regional headquarters.
The appointment of the official was made in the early hours of the morning, and it is expected to help improve the management and image of the training center.
At this moment, a blockade is reported on Carrera 13 at the Lux Bike sector. The reason for the obstruction of the road is used to non-compliance with the agreements reached at the meeting of July 15 between the departmental government and the community of District 4, which requests the improvement of the road. This media company will be attentive to the development of this news and the agreements that are generated between the community and the local government. The National Police achieved several arrests during the last days for different crimes, and the detainees were placed at the disposal of the competent authority.
In recent days, the National Police captured 5 people for different crimes, 2 of them for illegal possession of firearms, as announced by Lieutenant Colonel Ricardo Moncaleano.
Hoy podemos manifestar.
Today we can tell the citizens that we had 5 arrests for 5 crimes, 2 of them for illegal possession of a weapon, a 19-year-old young man in the Morris Landing sector who was carrying a 9mm pistol type weapon, and a 65-year-old citizen in Cabañas, Altamar, who was found with an 18 caliber revolver with ammunition for the same.
At Gustavo Rojas Pinilla Airport, the National Police managed to achieve the capture in flagrante delito for the crime for manufacture, trafficking, or carrying of narcotics of a 22-year-old man from San Andres who seized 5 rectangular objects containing a plant substance with similar characteristics to marijuana.
Tenemos de igual manera.
We also have 2 arrests for drug possession and trafficking, one of which occurred at the airport, where through profiling work, a citizen was found to be in possession of a plant substance with characteristics similar to marijuana in the amount of 1,900 grams.
Finally, the personnel of the Sectional Investigations Team achieved the capture in flagrante delito for the crime of theft of a 47-year-old native of San Andres.
La última captura por el...
The last capture for theft was made after this person was found in possession of a drone that had been stolen a few days earlier.
After recent events where a group of Teleislas expressed their disagreement with the project to build a road in the sector of Dopigoli, one of the leaders of the sector expressed that the road is necessary not only for the residents of the neighborhood, but for the entire island.
Los habitantes de este sector.
The inhabitants of this sector, my community, and workers who do not live here but who use this road every day, we are 100% in agreement with the construction of the road. We know that a study was done that explains that the construction of the road will not affect our water resources here in Dopigoli. The quarries, public works, the material for filling that they took out of here, it provides them eggs, chickens, beef, pigs, and everything that has to do with agriculture.
In the same line, the inhabitant of the sector said that she had the support of the other locals.
A varios lugares pidiendo.
Here I have the signatures of some of the owners and residents of the area that agree that we need a road and street lighting due to the needs and deficiencies that have been seen here and the danger that exists here. Inside this road, they come and throw garbage of all sorts, refrigerators, televisions, gas cylinders, etc. So where is my people at when we need them to offer support for the closing of the streets so that they don't do that?
Finally, Baldonado expressed some of the problems that the construction of the road seeks to reduce.
Es un tema que es difícil para mí.
Well, this is a topic that is difficult for me to talk about, but since I have lived it firsthand, I can say it. I know what it is like to live here as a woman myself, and there are several women here who have been sexually assaulted. Here there is no road, there is no lighting, and although it could have happened if there was lighting on a road, it would not have been so easy. We could have avoided many misfortunes with the road and street lighting. We need the whole island to support us so that the road can be built, since it does not affect or contaminate the soil or water.
The National Registry Office has started the massive issuance of the digital cedula, where interested persons can start the process to acquire it.
The National Registrar's Office has started the issuance of the digital identification card, which will be free for young people applying for the first time. Those who wish to change their cedula may do it as a duplicate, which has a cost and a duration of approximately 20 days for its activation and delivery of the physical document. This strategic plan of the 21st Century Registrar's Office establishes that the digital ID card will be issued physically and the application on mobile devices can be activated through facial biometrics.
According to the enunciation that the registrar gave a week ago about the massification of the cedula, I hereby inform the community of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina that the digital cedula is a new technological innovation that is available for Colombians. After 22 years, we are going to have a digital cedula. How would the transition process be? It will be done gradually. Young people who turn 18 years of age when they come to make their identification card for the first time will have a digital card which is totally free. People who for X or Y reason have lost their document will have a duplicate card and will have a value of 55,750 pesos. There are two forms of payments on the webpage, and the other is in person.
It is worth noting that with the digital ID card, you can obtain several benefits such as the impossibility of forgery or adulteration, biometric identification and authentication, the impossibility of identity theft or usurpation, protection of personal data, and passport-free entry to all member countries of the Andean community.
For the 17th version of the Business Rhythm 2022 survey, nearly 7,000 companies were consulted out of a universe of 40,000 companies affiliated to 25 chambers of commerce from the country, from 15 departments that contribute 83.5% of the GDP, where San Andres scored along with another municipality in a positive way, both in employability and sales.
According to what was reported by the Chambers of Commerce in the Business Rhythm survey for the second semester of 2022, where the perception of economic growth, investment, employment, and economic environment of the affiliated companies was consulted, San Andres was among the departments that scored in terms of economic reactivation, showing 51% in the first semester of 2022.
En el caso puntual de San Andrés,
in the specific case of San Andres, 51.5% of the companies indicated that their sales increased in the first semester of this year, and 7.1% stated that they decreased, which shows a very wide difference there. In contrast, companies registered in the chambers of Buga, Urabá, Cauca, Buenaventura, Ipiales, and Cúcuta had a higher percentage of companies that said that their sales decreased versus those that increased.
On the other hand, the figures regarding employability were explained, where San Andres also showed positive results.
lo que es el empleo, las cifras.
Regarding employment, the figures here as well as in sales, the figures have an important and marked regional difference. Outstanding figures for the case of the Southern Abura Chamber of Commerce, again for the case of San Andres, Cartagena, Medellin, and Cali, which have positive figures and higher than the percentages of companies that said they decreased.
And now it's time for Sport News with Victor Fusalva.
Hello, here are the best sports of our islands. Baseball plays a very important role, and also parents and teachers are very, especially teachers, plays an excellent role in the formation of children. Let us watch. Sports is fundamental in the formation of our children, and coaches are the trainers who play the role of second parents in the formation and education of our young athletes. In baseball, as in another sport, they play a fundamental role, as do the parents who support the young athletes. This is what was stated by Eric Stephens, a father who supports his children in sports.
And I want to thank the Prof. Murillo, Aurora, Steve, Stefano Steele, with the placement when they do with the children them in the sport. I hope we continue with the engaging the keep in them to be a future player in the island.
My senior teach me to get good discipline, to play baseball good, and if me want to be a professional baseball player, and tell me to make me play, to make me practice hard and good. Thanks, teacher Aurora. My Prof. Murillo teach me to be disciplined. I want to come out good. I want to get Bundesliga, good baseball, and practice good. So, thank Murillo for learning the things, and I like you, that was second papa.
Coaches and parents are the perfect combination for the formation of young athletes to be professionals and good people for tomorrow in our society. And in another scenario, with the participation of 3 islanders, the Bucaros of Bucaramanga team become champions of the W Basketball League. This will be all in sports for tonight. We will see you on another broadcast. We continue with Lisa.
Thank you, Victor. With sport news, we reach to the end of our broadcast, but we see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. with more of Teleislas news. Good night.